Welcome back to the Grand Slam channel. Got an early video for Sunday, December 29th, week 17 of the NFL slate. We also got 6 NBA games on schedule. Recap of yesterday, we did well on NFL. We ended up going 3 for 4. We ended up getting one reboot with James Conner, but overall a profit day for NFL. NBA, we did break even. Unfortunately, LaMelo Ball was a DNP, and then Malik Monk did not hit his turnovers, and Shai Alexander sold everything. He did not hit one single prop. Even if you took his gobbies, he did not hit. Overall, a bad game for him. But we move on to today. Hopefully, it's much better, given that we have NFL we can mix and match with. But let's get started. I got 5 props for each sport. Keep in mind, I am doing this video overnight, so not all the props are posted yet, especially for NBA. We're still waiting for some fantasy scores, but we did pretty good with the overnight slips on our Discord. So let's get started with the NFL. First one, unfortunately, it is the #1 popular play, and that is Saquon Barkley. He is in my list. Why? Because he is after Aaron Dickerson's rushing record. He's only about 250 yards away from that record for Saquon, and then the matchup is there going against Dallas. So I think he can run all over Dallas. Dallas pretty much threw in the towel. They're already eliminated. They're even sitting down CD Lamb. Or Saquon Barkley, rushing yards, I gotta take it. That record's in sight for him. So I'm gonna be taking his rushing yards, but everything is in play for him. Maybe not his receiving yards, but his rushing yards are in. His fantasy score is in. Even you can probably take one of his demons as well. His rushing attempts should be up there as well. The Eagles already clinched the spot, so Saquon should go off, and that is my first leg. Second one I'm going to be going with is Juno Smith, and he is on my top 2 for the day 1 of the Latter Day Challenge. Receiving yards and receptions are my top 2 targets for him. Third option is Rico Duro. Like I mentioned, Dallas is pretty much out, but Rico should get plenty of touches. He should have a pretty good game. Obviously, CD Lamb is out for the rest of the season, so he's going to rely mostly on Rico now. Rush and receiving yards is my go-to option for him. Fantasy score might be in play as well, but I'm just going to take his rush and receiving yards. He does quite get like 2 or 3 receptions a game, so I'll be taking overall. He probably get that on rushing yards alone. Next one I'll be taking is Bucky Irving. The matchup is there for him. Tampa Bay needs to win to stay in the playoff hunt. Bucky Irving had a monster game against the Panthers. Panthers can play spoiler. They did last week against the Cardinals. But I think Buccaneers should get this game money line if you guys are taking it. Bucky rushing yards is in play. His demons are in play. Rushing and receiving yards is in play, but I'm going to be taking his overall fantasy score at 17. It's going to get bumped to 17.5 closer to game time. But overall, I think he's going to have a good game. He should get in the end zone as well. And my last one is going to be Jaden Daniels. And I did include him with Juno Smith as my top 2. Hopefully they haven't bumped it yet. But for Jaden Daniels, passing yards is in play at 220. Fantasy score is in play as well. And I took his pass completion at 21. He's been averaging the mid-20s. Washington needs to win this game as well to get a better seed and to officially clinch playoffs. They still haven't clinched it, so they do need to win. Fantasy score is also in play, but I'm just going to be taking his pass completions. Daily Grind Fantasy does have it at 54% hit rate to go over, and that rounds up my top 5. 3 of these are DG value, excellent value with the 53% or over. Saquon has that motivation for that Eric Dickerson record. And then Juno Smith is probably my play of the day. Receptions or receiving yards are in play. Let's head on over to NBA. We do have 6 games. Let's clear the board. Like I mentioned, not all the props are posted yet for NBA. Fantasy scores are not posted. Dunks, the combos are not posted yet. It is 1 o'clock on my time. But we did find some good value. And the first one I'll be going with, I'm going to go right back to him even though he sold. I'm going to go with Wembayama, but last time I did take him, obviously I took the wrong prop for him. So I'm going to go with the one that he did cash last week, even though he had a bad game. Daily Grind Fantasy does have it at 53% hit rate to go over, and that's going to be his blocks and steals. You can take his blocks once it gets posted, but they do not. They have his Gabi at 2.5. His regular line should be at 3.5. I believe you can get that on Sleeper. But right now on blocks and steal, you're getting some value. You can get this on blocks alone. He does average about a steal or two a game, but he's been on a tear with blocks. He's been averaging 5 blocks a game. Matchup is there too, going against Minnesota. Minnesota does have some big men, so I believe Victor should have plenty of opportunities for block potential. Next one is Ben Simmons. Usually I don't like to take Ben Simmons, but he's been averaging pretty good on his points and assists, and that's what I'm going to be targeting. Points and assists is very too low. Usually his line's at 14, 15. Not much of a scorer. He averages about 6 to 9 points a game. Assists is there. Usually his assist line is not up yet. But he can cash this on assist alone. He is a madman with assist. Gone over an 8 of 10 past 10 games. Matchup is there for Orlando against Orlando. Money line, I do have Orlando winning this game. But he could average about 6 points, 7 points, and then get his usual 6 to 8 assists a game. So it brings up to 14 and 15, which I'm going to be taking as points and assists. Rebounds and assists is in play as well, but I prefer his points and assists. Next one is Cam Thomas, coming off of injury. He hasn't played in a month. So you can 2 props for him that I like. I'm going to be personally taking his points and assists, but his assists at 2.5, excellent value. Daily Grind Fantasy does have it at 53% hit rate to go over. If his shooting's not there, obviously he's going to dish the ball. So this is a good alternative if you don't want to take the points and assists. 2.5, that's second option for him. Next one I'll be taking is Dillon Brooks. He's been playing very well lately. His minutes has been up as well. Should be a competitive game against Miami. Hopefully there's no blowouts today. But for Dillon Brooks, I'm going to be taking his PRA. And I was able to get him at 18.5, so it did get bumped to 19.5. I think you can get him on Sleeper at 18.5, but I have him going over 20. Past 10, he's gone over 8 of 10. Daily Grind Fantasy does have it at 52% hit rate to go over as well. So I'll be taking Dillon Brooks PRA. Fantasy score can also be in play. He does have block and steal potential. And last one is Tristan Silva. And I'm going to be taking the under, and this is a complete DGEV value play. Minutes has been dwindling for him as well. Production has been down as well. He did have a couple big games against Miami and Boston. But I'm going to have Tristan Da Silva going under on his PRA. Once his fantasy score gets posted, I'm probably going to be taking the under on that as well. But that's the only under I'm going to be taking with the props that are given right now. So you guys can mix and match. Wemby over blocks and steals. He should have a bounce back game. I know he sold everybody, but I expect him to have a good game. He should bounce back. Ben Simmons, points and assists. Cam Thomas, points and assists as well, or his assist. And then Dillon Brooks, PRA. Fantasy score once it gets posted, and Da Silva less on his PRA and fantasy score. So mix and match with NFL. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Appreciate the support. If you're interested in the Discord, the link is in the description below. If you're interested on the other platforms, I do have a couple promo codes you guys can use for a deposit match. Other than that, enjoy your Sunday and see you guys in the next one.